Welcome to the Intangibles Podcast, presented by VZN, the home for basketball content.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, whatever time you're watching this. Welcome back to the Intangibles Podcast. I'm Matt, and today we have another guest with us. The past few days, we've been having a lot of former Ateneans, and now we have another former Atenean, uh, multiple time champion, and Mr. Isaac Go with us today. Welcome, Kuya. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, man.
Thank you, Kuya, for accepting the invite. Um, we just want this interview, this episode is gonna be about you basically. Kwentuhan
Okay.
lang, kwentuhan
Okay.
session lang. And but before that, Kuya, kamusta? How's life been so far?
Okay naman, been good. I got busy na syempre watching games, PBA. Not only that, but syempre recovery, starting rev up yung workouts ko. And syempre may iba bang side projects here and there. So
Mm.
yan po, just keeping myself busy and just inching closer towards my return.
How's the recovery, Kuya? May ano ba? May exact date na ba for that? Yung
Wala
return
pa,
natin.
wala pa.
Return. Wala pa,
Wala
wala
pa,
pa.
wala pa.
Abangan ka
Relax
namin,
lang.
Kuya. Abangan ka
Baka
namin.
lahat kayo na-excite eh. Inaabangan na ako.
Inaabangan ka namin, Kuya. Looking forward to your return. But before we get into the basketball side of questions, Kuya, may iba ka ba bang hobbies aside from basketball? Any particular hobbies na ginagawa mo?
Ako, I dwell a little bit in card collecting. Video games is a big one for me. Series, I think here and there, depende anong series yan. So, sometimes I get caught up with it. Sometimes, relax lang. Depende talaga sa mood eh. Tapos,
Mm.
I guess, yun yung mga hobbies ko. Medyo basic person, I guess ako.
May yung card collecting, NBA cards, ganun?
A little NBA, a little Pokemon. I think I collected Quicks cards rin for a while.
Uh-uh.
So, mix talaga yung kinokollect ko. Mahal na kasi yung mga NBA cards ngayon eh.
Super, Kuya.
Medyo hirap eh. Kaya, relax lang.
Well, usually kasi before we start the podcast, we ask like a top 5 anything, random anything. For a guest. Kaya lang kasi mahirap magtanong ng top 5 sa cards. Kasi
Top
walang
5 sa...
medyo
Top five.
mahirap na ano yun. Siguro Kuya, top 5 na na-pull mo na cards.
Wala pa. I think that's where ako, I'm not into polling kasi. Because yun na, as much as it's really exciting, there's fun with it. In a business perspective, I am not yet at a point where I'm able to recuperate some of my money when I break. But syempre, let's be real, pag nag-break ka, may winners, may losers. Pag swerte ka talaga. Pag malas ka talaga. So, more singles kinokollect ko are for NBA. Tapos sa Poke naman, more of sealed products yung kinokollect ko. So, sealed products lang para more of long-term hawak rather than bibiling ko agad. Tapos, sige, rip na natin. Kahit sobrang saya, ko, I've had my fair shares of talagang ikaw naghahanap. You too don't know what you're gonna get. Tapos hahanapin mo yung rare card, yung hit, yung chase, holo, numbered, lahat na lang maisip mo. Pero I'm not yet at a point where namamonetize ko siya. So, syempre, pag-rip, personal enjoyment, yes. But at the same time, what are you gonna do with all the bulk? Di ba? Ang dami yung bulk eh.
Kuya, sobra. As in, ang dami. Ako, before kasi nagbe-break ako eh. Like, wala akong pinaggagamitan now, for now. Pero, Kuya, ano na lang, sige. Meron kang kinokollect ngayon. So what can you say is the top 5 that you have, your favorite top 5? Na, siguro, let's stick with NBA cards na lang kasi Kuya, wala akong alam sa Pokemon cards eh. So, NBA card.
I guess sa NBA, I think one is I have actually, sa kapatid ko to, parang nag-share rin kami. Siya yung bumili nun. Kevin Durant rookie auto, nabili niya ng mura. Bill Russell auto from pair college yung uniform niya.
Okay.
Devon George, Kobe Bryant, quad 4 jersey patch. Tapos nasa kuya ko. Ako naman, personally, nabili ko Don Russ, rated rookie na Luka. Nabili ko mura. Tapos naging PSA 10 siya. And I guess Tyler Hero, Silver Prism. Medyo mababa ngayon. But, I mean, at the time, I think I got it for a good price.
Grabe,
So, siguro
price
yan yung
mo Luka.
But then, bili ko siya at the time na medyo mababa siya.
Yun na, grabe.
Ngayon, di na. Pero nagbuwaba ulit yung prices. But, I mean, I think mahirap na rin kasi ngayon eh. A lot of people that are hoarding the Luka rookies, having them graded na. And because yun na, people cannot have certain cards graded, they grade other cards that aren't worth getting graded. Yung pag titingnan mo yung presyo ng example ng PSA 10, lugi ka pa. Kahit na 10, lugi ka pa sa presyo. So, stuff like that. Siguro yan yung top 5 ko ngayon. I think the Tyler Hero Silver Prism, di ko ata siya pinagrade because the professional opinion at the time was it was gonna come out at PSA 8. I think PSA 8. So, not worth it. Not worth it.
Medyo mababa pa siya.
Mababa talaga. So, yan yung siguro yung mga top ko ngayon. Top 5 na nasa collection ko.
Sige, kuya. Well, that's interesting to know, but let's go na to the basketball topics na talaga. To start it off, saktong-sakto, tell us how your upbringing was on basketball. What made you start playing basketball, and what made you decide to pursue basketball for your future?
Growing up kasi di na talaga I wasn't no to sports talaga, zero, as in given a choice, mag-aral, mag-basketball. Mas pipiliin ko pa mag-aral noon. But because yan na may panganay akong kapatid, may kuya ko na kailangan ng kalaro. So, nahatak pa ate ako because panganay siya kailangan makinig And my parents saw it as a great way na, he's getting out of the house, he's not sitting in front of the TV anymore. Baka tumulong sa pagiging, parang just for general healthy lifestyle. So, nasama ako doon. And I think, yun na, the turning point where I started seeing that basketball was gonna be for me was, I made the under-16 team. I technically did make it at first, but they were like, we see the potential. Maybe he can stay around and train. Parang, yun parang all of a sudden, I'm competing against the best 20-25 ng batch ko na nakikita ko na yung improvement and people are starting to acknowledge na, hey, baka pwede siya. Hindi lang pang model lang dahil matangkad. Sige, lagay natin sa team para may matangkad. But actually, getting on the floor, being able to compete a little bit, parang yan yung naging parang turning point personally para sa akin na to say that, parang okay itong basketball to Parang ano kaya mangyayari kung tinuloy ko to?
Well, kuya, mukha naman maganda yung napuntahan, di ba? Maganda naman yung napuntahan nung journey na yun. And of course, we have to talk about it. The college, Ateneo life, under Coach Tab. And later on, the shots that you made during the finals and all of that. But how was it, that whole experience, Ateneo College basketball experience, especially under Coach Tab?
I think naswerte na ako na I got to go to Ateneo. I think growing up, a lot of coaches saw na malangkad ako, pero di athletic, mabagal. Parang, and you see the trend basketball was going to na mas pabor na yung mga tao na, okay, I'd rather have a smaller big who's more mobile, more physical, rather than matangkad na medyo palampa. And I had to compete against that thought. And also with, when you go to college, hindi lang local kalaban mo. Of course, you have the FSAs there. You're not anymore the tallest. You're not anymore the oldest. You're not anymore the biggest. May mas matangkad, mas malaki, mas magaling.
Mas mabilis. Lahat na.
Mas mabilis lahat na lang But parang under coach staff, parang I remember when I came out of high school, when I got to college, my brother again, 1 year ahead sa akin, sinabi na niya, na-feel niya yung malaki yung gap ng difference ng natutunan namin ng high school sa college. Tapos, so first year, medyo napag-adjust na ako, medyo, not, parang kaya naman. Nung dumating si Coach Tab, parang yung gap nun, medyo nahabol ko na. Lumaki ulit. Parang, you have a coach who's been there, done that, world stage. Tapos he's coaching us a high school team. Parang, di kami makapaniwala na you have this level of a coach and yun na, exposed kami to a lot of new things, a lot of new concepts, new ideologies. And iba talaga to have a coach who's been at that Olympic level, World Cup level, who's traveled the world. Iba, he sees different things, he has different experiences na you cannot buy that eh. You can't just pay, tas gagawin mo, hindi. Yung pinagdaanan niya lahat, parang napasa niya sa amin. So parang, and it affected us each in different ways. Kaya lahat, parang, iba talaga yung journey ko in Ateneo na parang, wow, nakapagbiyahe, parang nakatravel ko yung buong world. And nakita ko talaga yung growth ko as a person, nag-develop talaga.
Kuya, yung di ba may parang training camp kayo in the off-season? Yeah, I know, hindi naman pwedeng ikwento yung mga details inside. Pero, I mean, with the information nasabi na sa amin from other players din and from
Ano sinabi nila?
Parang military camp. Parang,
okay.
Hindi naman, di rin kami humingi ng mga specific details kasi B-Bob, syempre ayaw rin namin makialam sa mga ganun. Pero, alam mo yun, parang gigising ka daw sa military camp na parang ang difference lang is mas maganda yung kama mo. Yun lang yung difference daw, sabi nila. So, parang ganun ba? Close to that? Kamusta yun?
Yeah. I think if you dwell in, yung concept kasi hindi yun. Parang, yung specifics mismo doesn't really mean much. In the sense that the specific things that happen, you can change and still get the same outcome. I think what's more important to look at is the logic behind everything that you had. Parang, for example, like the idea of the camp is to break English ko to, putya na, mapapang-nosebleed data ako dito dahil si Coach Tab kasi. The logic of the camp is to break down the individual so that parang you end up having to rely on your teammates. So, parang yun yung logic na, okay, dalawa yan eh. Either, one, you go into camp na sobrang conditioned ka, you're super in shape, na kahit anong pinagawa sa'yo, wala. That's one side of it. Which, syempre, you can already think that's probably 30, Joanne, Ange, Ike. I think you can pretty much split na see who's on that side and who's on the other side to show that you need to either talagang push yourself to the limit because sorry. Yun yung clock.
Okay lang.
Tagal pala dito. There. To push yourself to the point that ubos ka talaga na wala na silang masabi. Bis wala na silang mahihingi eh. To the point, you empty the tank. That ano sabihin nila? Run harder? Nabigay mo na lahat eh. That's buhos mo na eh.
Yeah.
Na the coaches will not ask and can't ask anything of you because you have nothing left to give.
Yep.
Or you end up having to rely on one another for motivation, for lakas. Parang you end up relying on one another para you work together. Parang because like kayo-kayo rin naman eh sa court.
Parang team building ko eh. Parang
parang ganun. Yan yung idea ng camp na yun.
Ah.
That's, I think, the best description I can give without having not to divulge much or parang sinasabi na nila baka you get the secret sauce.
Yeah, yun na.
But it's really that. It's really um having to surrender yourself or you're super in shape na wala kang pakialam.
Yeah.
It's one of the two talaga. And
Hindi ko alam na posible. Hindi ko alam na posible yun. Na may talagang may condition na ready to go in.
That was in Ange, Adrian, 30. I would throw Matt into that pool. That's probably those guys, those level of athleticism or fitness are the ones that CJ pair. CJ went through it once also. Sila yung may kaya talaga na the times, yung pinagawa ni Coach Tab, they crushed it. And then there's the other side of that, which doon ako na wag lang susuko. Ibigay mo lahat.
Medyo marami yung side na yun. Curious lang din ako kasi we're talking about Coach Tab din naman a while ago. Coach Sandy is another frequent name na lumalabas when we interview former Ateneans. Nasabihan na napakadaldal, all those types of stuff. So, if ever lang, was there an effect, a specific thing that he said or did to you na nagkaroon talaga ng long-lasting effect para sa'yo? And how was he as a coach din talaga in general?
I think the pinaka number one nun is I find if you can say his last name, kahit ano kaya mo sabihin. But on a more serious note, I don't think there was one specific with Coach Sandy. It's more of continuous process talaga. Because even for me, na I came into Ateneo, I knew I was not ready. I knew ang dami pang kakainin na bigas. Hindi lang bigas. Buhangin, lahat. Buhangin, dugo, lahat. And parang having him there being every step of the way na malaking parang because he's one of those few in our coaching staff that did play. Actually, no, they did play for Ateneo.
Yeah.
Wait, parang he did. Well, nga naman percent played for Ateneo. But parang longest time there, he's seen through it. Parang lahat nakita na niya. Daming klaseng player na dadaanan sa program, naabot niya. And parang he was someone who could balance out being funny, being a friend, being someone who lighted up the room. But at the same time, when it got down, when you're in the trenches, when you're battling na, he will be there with you. He will coach you. He will help you along the way. And that was an everyday thing. Coach Sandy, parang no days off talaga si Coach Sandy.
Yes.
And parang I think I also credit a lot of my development with him na because madali siya yayain mag-workout eh. Siya, paminsan na siya na parang with his effort, his enthusiasm, his drive to help you get better. Sa simula siya yung magsasabi, tara, extra work tayo. And you have, parang mapapahawa ka na talaga to the point where, coach, tara naman tayo. Ikaw naman mag-aya. Tara, coach, mag-extra work tayo. And when he sees that, that's when, it just continues to help you get better, but also, the energy still of the team just keeps improving.
Well, Kuya, before we move on to your teammates naman, I just wanna get this out of the way. That pag may sinabing Isaac Go during college, may dalawang shot na medyo memorable talaga eh. So one is yung nakaluhod ka sa sahig.
Okay.
And two is the 3-point shot. The high looping 3-point shot. So doon muna tayo sa nakaluhod na tira. Kuya, anong dumating sa isip mong itira yon? Kasi parang if I were in game, tapos nakaganon ako, hindi ko may isip na magkaroon ako ng confidence na itira yon from there.
Honestly, the reason why I shot it was pahulog na ako noon. Sabi ko, by split second decision, sabi ko, either ma-shoot ko to Or mapipituhan ako ng traveling.
Okay.
One way or the other,
Okay.
akin na lang.
Titira mo na lang.
Tira ko na lang.
Oo.
Tira ko na lang. Because parang, I really thought that I was gonna get called for a travel. So might as well put a shot up. And I had a feeling that, and I looked at the picture, that I had teammates. This more likely than that. Pag miss ko yan, ito miss short. So either babalik sa akin yan, nakaload ako. And I had a feeling I had teammates around naman eh. So, like, there's no way, like, there's no way, if I took this, there's no way we could lose this game.
Okay. Tama, no? Grabe yung shirt.
So, yeah, I took the shot. And good thing it went in.
Well, and yung 3-point shot naman is a way different story. Kasi yung nakaluhod ka, like you said, dumadaan sa isip mo na, okay, pag short to, may pwedeng rebound, pwedeng ikaw yung makakuha ulit. Yung 3-point shot, the high looping 3-point shot, it was a clutch shot in the game. And it was like a movie. Sobrang bagal ng...
Ito ba yung Lasal? Or yung FEU? Dalawa yun eh.
Lasal.
Ay, Lasal. Yung Lasal. Oo.
Sobrang bagal nun. Parang... Andun kasi ako live eh. I was watching the game. Sobrang bagal nun for me. What was going through your head when you took that shot? Kasi parang... It's not... Okay, I can't say. Pero looking from like an audience perspective, parang iba yun from the usual shot that you take na di naman ganun kataas eh. Parang hindi... Alam mo yun, parang medyo alanganin. So what made you take that shot? And what went through your head before it actually went in?
When I took the shot, well, of course, when you take a shot, you know, you have the confidence that's going in. But aminin ko yan, lahat ng basketball player mayabang eh na. You take a shot, you believe in your heart of hearts that you're gonna hit that. But I think when I caught this, like what happened was, if I remember exactly, we drew up the play. We didn't follow the play. Like we always do. We always do. We sinayang namin yung timeout. But I remember because when I set the ball screen for 30 and I was gonna roll, I popped a little bit. And I was like, because that was my roll, and I saw 30 was driving against Ben. In my mind, I was like, okay, 30's gonna put this up, like put myself in a chance to grab an offensive rebound. When I took 1, 2, 3 steps, I see he stops, he plants his foot. And then when I saw him plant his foot, I was like, okay, he's not gonna shoot this. I have to get back. Get back to the line. Sakto. And then so I try to get back, and I barely get, if you watch the video, I barely get back in time. I barely get my feet behind the 3-point line. And 30 throws the ball. I see Kim at the corner of my eye running towards me. And I agree with you. I shot it higher than I expected. Like, as in yung afternoon to me, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
ang taas. After na. But before shooting it, you shouldn't have these second thoughts go through your mind. It's literally catch and shoot. And in that situation, you just have to do that. And yun na, as it was going up in the air, I was like, okay, it looks good, but I shot it extra too high. And then it goes in. Yun na. Sakto. And I always tell this story. What makes it funny was the entire day, I did not hit a single three. And when I mean I did not hit a single three, I mean I absolutely did not hit a single three. That includes the whole game. That includes warm up.
Oh.
That included halftime. That included the game. Because if you look at my stat line that game, that was my first 3-point attempt of the game. I had 4 or 6 points at that time. But that was my first 3-point attempt of the actual game. At halftime, I'm not sure if you can find this, but if you watch me shoot at halftime, I make 0. Pre-game, I make 0. So I'm like, frick, I'm 0 for how many today? And I'm like, what's wrong with me today? Like, I'm missing so many shots. And I would say I kind of got bailed out on that one, but I guess funny ways talaga, di ba? There are days that you know you're good, there are days you don't. You feel like you're not, and that was just one of those days.
Parang
And
sign na yun eh. It was a big sign na.
it was parang, I think when I hit that talagang we knew that was for us na. Parang this was done. This championship was for us na.
Well, thank you for that story. Kasi hindi ko rin alam yun eh, na hindi ka actually,
Wala akong na-shoot.
Di ko
Wala akong
alam.
na-shoot, man.
hindi ko
As in
alam.
talaga, I was like, damn, my role's to shoot threes and I can't even hit threes in warm-ups.
Hindi ko alam yun, but everything happens for a reason nga naman. So, moving on, let's go talk about your teammates naman. Of course, over the years, sa daming-daming taon din naglaro ka sa Ateneo. Can you tell us your favorite teammate and your favorite moment with them? With him or with them?
So many. So many moments. I think favorite moment, this stood out to me, was when when was this? Okay. This was the year yun na yung kneeling shot, same game. I won't say Mamu's my favorite teammate, but this is one of the fond memories I have with him. Was we what happened was, start of the fourth quarter, we're down. No, medyo dikit yung laro. Coach Tab decides to put in a weird lineup. Parang, just to, okay, we're gonna use this lineup for a bit, see how it goes. And what happened was we gave up the lead.
Okay.
So parang, like, what's gonna happen? Like parang, I think we were down 8 when Coach Tab, 8 or 10 when Coach Tab took me out at 8-minute mark. And my teammates managed to rally that game, managed to pull ourselves back in the game, and but I remember when Matt got fouled, Matt shot the last free throws. Me and Mama were talking in half court like, George, mag-finals tayo. Like, we're gonna head to the finals. Parang, yan yung parang one of those moments na naman, parang lahat ng pinaghayapan namin. Last year, talo kami sa finals. Then we have this year, we have a chance again to go back. Parang that was one of my moments that will stick to me talaga, because parang yan na eh. Parang the realization because when you're in the moment, you don't feel it. Like, you don't feel it once it hits. But when it does, parang you're overcome with emotion, with mga ganon. So I think in terms of one of my favorite moments has to be that with Mamu. But favorite teammate kasi, sino ba favorite? Favorite teammate? Baka lalaglagan ako dito eh, pag nalaman nila kung sino pinili ko.
Okay. FYI ko si Kuya Mike Nieto, sabi niya si Mamu. So,
magjowa sila eh. Sila yung magjowa hanggang ngayon eh. Sino ba? Like, honestly, I would have to say, hindi si Angie. Ange stole my minutes eh. Ready na ako eh. Tapos ninakaw ni Angie mga minuto ko eh. Si I would have probably, I guess, I think it can be a boy. Probably has to be Ange. In the sense that parang marami kaming pinagsabahay in a way na parang we yung parang, I think at that time parang naging mentorship role. But the reason I think the memory that sticks to me from the both of us, when Coach Tab called me out in viewing and said, "You're too focused on mentoring him. What about you?" Parang, for me and Ange, I think it was a point na, like, okay, we're gonna Ange take over, I'm gonna take a backseat. No way. Parang Coach Tab challenged me. Parang, are you just gonna give it to Ange? Are you satisfied with this? And parang something in me struck me. Parang, why will I also work just as hard to be in the same position. And I think that had a turning point now. The dynamic me and Ange had, that from mentorment, probably more of, okay, I'm gonna compete with you. I'm gonna kick your ass as the best way I can. And that's tough, but I ain't gonna. I think that's one memory that sticks out with me and him. Bis dati, baby, tapos tulong-tulong, but Coach Tab challenged na, are you satisfied?
Yeah.
Challenge it. And I think that puts some respect between the both of us, by newfound respect na, okay, we're gonna help each other, but we're gonna help each other by going at each other in
Competing.
practice.
By competing, yeah.
Hmm.
So, you told us the favorite teammate and your moment with them. Siguro nga, kasi, kuya, kami rin kasi, the podcast that we have, we were all teammates before.
Hmm.
And siguro yun nga, the best way nga to get mutual respect, then the bond din kasi is to compete with each other. And I feel like it's the best example nga, yung kayo ni Ange. Pero, from favorite teammate, paano naman yung favorite opponent mo sa UAP?
Ooh.
Yung alam mo yung paglubas na yung team nila sa calendar na yun. Talagang yun talagang binubulugan mo na parang okay, dapat ito maganda laro dapat dito.
I think number one, lahat naman ng laro kailangan maganda.
Sa bagay.
But if I had to pick, I think it has to be FEU. Well, of course, given yung Ateneo Lasal yun eh. But if it's someone that's not Lasal, it has to be, I guess, FEU. The reason being was 4 years kami naglaban sa semifinals.
Uh-huh.
The only time we did it was when we swept.
Yeah.
And in 4 years, parang always do or die. First year ko, actually, sorry, 3 of those years, medyo dikit eh. First year ko, na Macbelo kami, put back of Macbelo to send them to the finals. Last year of Kiefer and Vaughn. Second year ko, first game talo kami, Raymar Jose, 20 rebounds, double-double. And then the second game was yung the game na nosebleed ako. That pushed us going to LaSalle the third in the finals, where we lost to Mbala. Third year, the series you're talking about, yun na, the 3 points and the kneeling shot. Game 2 rin, do or die. Send it to the finals. Tomorrow, FEU was a team that always brought out the best in us na. FEU was known to be a very defensive team, very hardworking, hard-nosed. For a lack of a better word, no fuck given, sino kalaban.
Yep.
They were always just ready to perform.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably why we enjoy playing against FEU.
And anyone specific, kuya?
Lahat sila, parang FEU, the reason why I don't like playing against FEU, and the reason why I also enjoy both, FEU would always have these hard-nosed players who just knew how to play, who knew how to play hard. That would be include like Barkley Abonia, Raymar Jose, Mac Bello, guys who aren't playing basketball for the glitz and glamour. They play basketball for the love, and they just put their head down, work hard. Parang simple lang eh, and yet they're so effective, so annoying to play against, but at the same time, so much fun because yun na, you throw a lot of yes, there's still tactics, but it becomes mano-y-mano talaga. Who's gonna be the bigger man today? Not basketball player.
I think kasama na rin sa identity nila yun eh. I mean, from sila Terrence pa lang, sila Terrence Romeo, sila Kuya Terrence, and then even now you can see it with si Alec Stockton sa
Yeah.
You can see that's the identity they have. Talagang hard-nosed. Talagang kayang-kaya nila makipaglabanan with anyone. And I guess that's a good thing. Well, despite that being their thing, natatalo nyo pa rin sila. And that leads us to the next question siguro. What do you think was the main factor of your team's success? And with that, what valuable lessons have you learned in your time there in Ateneo as a player?
Number one, Coach Tab Baldwin. If we didn't have him, and the reason why I say this is because I exactly remember the graphic. I forget. I think it was CNN. They were doing a comparison Ateneo versus LaSalle, and in every position, talo kami. Backcourt, LaSalle. Frontcourt, LaSalle. Bench, LaSalle. Coach, they gave it to Coach Tab, but by a small margin. And we had no, honestly, in that first year, we had no business making the finals. Because everyone had us out of the Final Four. Everyone had us like at 5 or 6. And we did lose to LaSalle by 30 in the preseason. Talagang, to turn us around from that into a team that made the finals, finished strong, parang malaking tulong. But like, he played a big factor. And I think another one is experience scatters. Camaraderie matters. Genuinely enjoying playing with who you're with and on and off the court matters. Because it got to a point when we were in our fourth, fifth years, wala na. We were a well-oiled machine. Like, we knew what one person, what play to run for which person, what spot did they like it with, what they like to do, what's their tendencies. Kaya, we got to that point and I think that it was a spillover of our camaraderie off the court. Parang kung sino kasama, parang yung kalokohan before practice, after practice, nag-carry over siya to how we played the game eh. So I think that was a big factor. At the same time, nag-mature kami na we could take criticisms from one another to an extent. Like, if someone came out and approached us for a comment, for a parang correction, we wouldn't mas magaling ako sa kanya, ba't iisipin ko yan? Or we wouldn't disregard it. Parang it would become like a debate or, okay, I listened to it, but this is my side, what I'm looking at. And there was no ill will with that. So that's why we just got better and better. The coaches didn't just start coaching. Aside from the coaches coaching us, our teammates were coaching us as well. So when you have a lot of those correction, a lot of eyes, you just start to notice certain things and you just start to just become better because more eyes, more brains. And yes, it can get too much at certain points, but it just kind of pushed us to become better because now I notice something that, example, Matt's doing something and I notice it. Plus, nabubulong ko kay SJ. And I bulong. So instead of one person just getting better, everyone gets better. And that we made that environment na everyone was just gonna get better. And if there is initiative from the players, it really goes a long way.
Well, siguro that's it for our UAAP topic na muna. Let's move on to the PBA. Medyo wala pa tayong mapapag-usapan dyan for now kasi we're still waiting for your return, kuya. Pero mainly siguro, what was it like hearing your name in the draft?
Okay. Before hearing my name, I will tell you that feeling when you're in the tent. So what happens? All the draftees are at the back of the stage in a tent para di makita, and I knew I was gonna get called within the first 5 names because you have the Gila special draft. I don't know what order or what. I knew I was getting called, and I still felt the anxiety, yung kaba, yung anxiety. And I can't imagine what the other guys were feeling there. The ones who weren't ranked, the ones who were gonna take a gamble.
Yeah.
That level of kaba is something wow. But when I the sigh of relief when I got my name called first overall, wow. Nagulat din ako because let's be real, Ray was really good, Alain's really good, Matt and Mike are really good. Like, you couldn't go wrong picking one of us 5. And yun na. The reason why I started loving basketball was I started hitting milestones along the way that helped me keep motivated. Because it's hard to stay motivated, especially if you don't love what you're doing at first. If you don't see improvement or if you don't hit certain goals. So I felt like it was another milestone in my career na. Dati kasi, it was always what's the next level. From grade school, okay, make the team muna. Tapos, from make the team to playing 5 to 10 minutes. From 5 to 10 minutes to 25 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes. From grade school to high school to college. Never kami nag-jump from high school, oh, I'm gonna go to the pros. I wasn't one of those guys. Okay, I'm gonna make it to pros parang first year pa lang. First year high school, I'm gonna make it to the pros. Hindi. So, parang, it's just always a step-by-step process for me. So, parang, ayun na, I hit another milestone off my checklist. Parang, and that even made me hungrier na when I got drafted one was because, yun na, people say I wasn't deserving. Parang, why siya number one siya? Stats niya sa college, ganito lang. As much as there were not so many haters po na I know that I'm my biggest critic na I know what I need to work on. Kaya to hear parang as I said, when you get drafted, parang you make the lead, the journey just begins eh. Parang yun na, just because you made the lead, you're done. No. There's that what fire me to improve, to get better, to produce. And yun na, where parang I still felt blessed to be number one. Parang, wow, parang, and when I stepped there, parang, it wasn't parang my accomplishment. It was a us accomplishment because I know it took my family, my friends, coaches, teammates. When I stepped on the stage to be craft call number one, it wasn't just me. Maraming tao na who's been with me from the start and saw my development are part of the journey na of me. So parang not it wasn't just me standing there, but I was standing there with them.
Um, may sa short time na you're there, do you have a welcome to the PBA moment already?
Ooh, I've had a couple. One having to guard Christian Stanhardinger. Because he's really awkward. Very contrapelo siya eh. And it's something very unique. Like you can scout it, but the scouting doesn't do justice to what he does. Because it's really awkward.
It's
It's really
unorthodox.
something that you can only once you expire you can get it. But you have to experience firsthand eh. Another one would be probably was playing Meralco, where when I say the name Cliff Hodge, I don't what to say Cliff Hodge. What do you think of Cliff Hodge?
Hustle? Medyo ano
Di
siya,
ba?
hustle eh. Hustle, hardworking type player siya eh. Yun
Di
yung
ba? With that description, Cliff Hodge scored, I think, 8 to 10 points against me in a small stretch. Because I was trying to be smart and all that. Like, okay, I'll cheat all the plays. I will help here, help there. And he took advantage of every mistake I made. I call it a mistake because nakapunto siya. But he took advantage of me cheating the floor. And people don't think Cliff Hodge is an offensive player because they see the rebounds, they see the defense, they see the dives on the floor. But what they don't see is this guy reads the game well. And got 2 off-and-ones. But all of a sudden, papasahan siya likod ko, oh damn, Cliff's at the rim. So probably terms of individual, well, I have to throw Junmar in there, but I haven't played Junmar in the PBA more sa SEA Games. But I guess the last one would have to be that Ginebra crowd. Because there's nothing like going up against that Ginebra crowd. It rivals what the UAAP can do. Like, I would argue that classic Ateneo LaSalle would be one. Like, back in the days where people would really, like, the crowd would fight.
Yeah.
Ginebra's up there. Ginebra's probably a 1.5. I'm biased because when I played against Ginebra, Anyar's Antipolo, medyo malayo, not so full. But when that Ginebra chant starts, that's in the same as when the Ateneo LaSalle game, when UST goes on that wild cheer. It's God tier talaga, like highest possible tier talaga.
Diba? Iba ang mga fans ng Ginebra ever since. I feel like, grabe yun. Anyway, siguro, ano pa ba? What do you hope to accomplish? Of course, you're coming off an injury right now. And I'm hoping, looking forward to seeing you in the PBA for a long period of time. What do you expect from yourself moving forward? What do you want to accomplish?
I think number one is get back to where I was, because I think prior to the injury, I was at a point where I was happy with where my body was at in terms of quickness, in terms of agility, because that was a process. Maybe not in terms of body, in terms of fitness, but your agility, that was one thing that I lost when I got injured, because even Coach Tab was surprised during the pandemic, bumalik kami ka ng camp. And napapansin yan, di ako nabibeat sa mga switches eh. And I know that I'm not the quickest eye out there. Like, if you make me do side-to-side lateral versus other guys, I'm probably one of the slowest. But I got to a point where that I was able to not get beat because I would combine it with scouting, with tactics, with team defense na di ako nabibeat. Nagulat si Coach Tab. George, what did you do during the break? Nagulat siya. And even other coaches were surprised. Like if you watch the Olympic qualifier tournaments, I think that was my best showing in terms of defense. Even the commentators were surprised that I could hold my own against these international guards. I think getting back healthy, that's number one. And number two is, I want to, remember, you want to win PBA championships. You want to be at a game set, syempre, you don't want to reach it at game 7 because gusto mo tapusin ng maaga, but you want to be there. You want to be competing. You want to be out there on the floor. You want to be, syempre, having those individual, not only individual, but team accolades. So I just want to be a player that can be remembered in the history books now, that gave his all, played smart. I can be a model for a lot of these players growing up na weren't really already athletic, who started late, who's had 2 major surgeries. You can be productive. You don't need to be the fastest guy out there. You don't need to be the tallest guy out there. You don't need the strongest guy out there. But by using your wit, skills, IQ, vision, anticipation, you're able to overcome certain physical limitations so that you can be able to make a long and prosperous career.
Well, we're looking forward to that, Kuya, na makita ka pa namin ng napakatagal pa, and hopefully get that chip for your team. Pero we'll leave the PBA talks for now, and hopefully makausap ka namin ng medyo mas marami kami ngayon. Makausap ka namin after the return sa PBA. But for now, siguro we're closing to the end of our interview, and there's this thing that we ask our guests. Then, like kanina sa top 5 meron, diba? We also ask the all-time starting 5 plus coach and 6-man of yours na nakalaro mo sa UAAP.
Baka yan na naman.
Also,
I played.
Kailangan kasama ka sa lineup na yun.
Kasama na ako.
Kailangan kasama ka.
The point guard na ako. Joke lang.
Pwede.
So wait. To clarify, I have to be able to play against?
No, with
it doesn't
them.
have to be with them. Sa teammates ko?
Yeah. So,
kasama ba to yung... Okay.
Out of every
college
team,
lang?
Yeah, college.
Every team?
Yeah.
Or college lang?
No, college lang. Pero out of every teammate that you had all throughout college. Pero kailangan kasama ka. So, starting 5, 6-man and coach. I think, hindi ko na kailangan tanong siguro yung coach, pero...
Coach Tam Baldwin eh. I think, in no particular order, I guess I'd have to pick Keith, New, Ange, 30, lima na yun.
And you. And then,
lima na yun. Lima na.
And your 6-man.
6-man. Ang bis ko na pili ng iba. Ito, stumped ako eh. Ako na lang 6-man.
Sige. Pwede naman.
Ako na yung 6-man. Sino po ba? So easy to pick from.
You have Keith at the point. You have
30.
You some 30.
Need some 30.
Ange. So you need a 4.
Ange.
Unless nagawin mo 4 si Ange. Hindi ko na lang. Hirap.
Yeah. I would have to say, give me, Mahirap. Pinag-isipan ko talaga. Parang ako ata yung pinakaseryoso nag-isip dito.
Hindi, actually. Matagal din sila sumagot. Hindi, actually. Yung may sweep, pinili lang yung starting five. Tapos sila yung, si Kuya Mike, starting five daw, tapos siya yung 6-man. Yun daw. Kaya lang, aside from him, wala nang, lahat kayo mabagal din pag-isipan pa. Kasi medyo mahirap naman talaga.
Medyo mahirap talaga eh. I had to say, you need Tyler Teo off the bench ka lang. Tapos ako 4. Tyler Teo off the bench.
Tyler
Yan
Teo.
na.
That's a good 5. And with that, siguro Kuya, do you have any, ano na lang, 3 things actually, 3 things. First, any advice to aspiring hoopers or yung mga katulad namin na hindi na nakamit yung dream namin na gusto pa rin pagpatuloy. 2, any other closing statements na parang gusto mo mag-shoutout, whatever. And lastly, nominate the next guest.
Nominate the next guest too. Okay, I think number 1 is, for my tip for the younger talent is to approach your growth to basketball holistically, meaning work on your body, work on your skills, but don't forget to work on the IQ. And I think that's the one thing that a lot of high school and kids leave out. That especially with the plethora. Oh, coach, that word yan.
Wow.
With all the information out there now, I remember back in the day, kailangan ko pa 6, 7 a.m. ako manood para makanood ng NBA.
Yeah.
They can watch, but there's like, you can watch EuroLeague, you can watch B-League, you can watch Australia ABL. Parang, learn the game, not just from a skill and physical standpoint. Basically, I think a lot of people now, it's very easy to find a trainer to work out with you for your body. Sa skills, medyo marami na rin. But, yun na, take the time to learn the game, because that was something na naging edge ko eh. Moving forward. Because I was never the fastest. I was never the most skilled. Your IQ is something that, number 1, has no limits.
Yep.
Number 2, no one can take away from you. You can never get injured. And number 3, it's something that, yun na, coaches are starting to look for. Yes, they know that they want to. Of course, they want to get they want the 6'8" long, athletic wings, bigs that can run up and down the floor. But having this takes you on a whole nother level. Because may limit yan eh. Eventually it will quit on you. Your body will quit on you one way or another. But this will never quit on you. Your brain. And sa may naman na di natuloy, there's always ways to stay relevant to the game. There's always other ways to be with the game, whether it be coaching, podcasts like what you do, commentating, writing. There are still so many ways to be involved with the game, and not just playing. So there's always another avenue to do so. And I guess thank you so much for having me here. Interesting conversation tayo. Kahit medyo late, parang inantok na tayong dalawa, and yet
Sorry, Kuya, talaga.
kuha natin ng 1 oras na walang problema. So thank you rin. Sino ba nag-guest na sa'yo? Nakita ko si Wami, si Mike.
So, Wami, Mike, Aaron Black, Tonino Gonzaga. So far, yun pa lang.
Let me guess, Mike nominated Mamu.
Yep. Yeah.
Magjowa talaga yung dalawang yun eh.
Yeah.
Who has an interesting story? That would be nice to hear. I would say I would nominate Patrick Magdenberg.
Ooh!
Para medyo curveball naman tayo.
Actually, pwede Kuya. Tingnan natin kung makakontakt. Si Kuya.
Para maiba naman. Or Tyler T. You can go Tyler T. If I think Tyler is more likely to respond.
Let's see Kuya. Subukan natin yan Kuya para makakuha rin tayo ng different perspective like yours. And Kuya, that's it. Thank you again for accepting the invite. Super appreciate na namin, mostly me kasi ako yung nakausap mo today. Pero sobrang na-appreciate namin yung time na binigay mo sa again. Hopefully you guys learned a lot from Kuya and na-appreciate niyo yung mga stories na na-share niya sa atin. At hopefully rin makausap ka ulit namin Kuya in the future, no? Once you get back to the PBA. And yeah, let's see. Let's see. Never know.
Let's see, man. Thank you so much, talaga, and hope you had just much fun as I did.
A lot, Kuya. A lot of fun. Thank you guys for watching. Look out for our next guests, and yeah, see you then. Take care. Stay safe. God bless.
So vibrant when we keep a low profiling.